This is a find out season story. It was cross posted in the BurbNBougie subreddit, but it's originally posted in the Petty Revenge subreddit. She says, cheat on me? Well, good luck having your mistress take care of your lazy ass. She says, this is not my story. This is my aunt's story. I am in her house because there was a family reunion. My aunt, let's call her Sarah, and her ex-husband, Dick. All right. She says, this happened almost 10 years ago. My aunt Sarah discovered her husband was cheating on her with a 25-year-old. He was 49 and my aunt was 42. They have two kids. Now, a little backstory. My aunt was a stay-at-home mom. She was very health conscious. In our culture, people tend to overfeed you, but she was against it because the people in our family have heart conditions and diabetes. Dick was someone who liked to eat and lead a lazy life. My aunt always pushed him to do some exercise. The reason is none of the men in his family lived past 55. Okay, and remember, he's 49. Okay, she wanted him to stay alive for the kids. She always cared for his health, did all his chores, and was a good wife overall. But it wasn't enough for Dick. He went on and cheated on her and blamed her because when he is with the mistress, he feels alive. The mistress doesn't force him to eat healthy or exercise. The mistress doesn't nag him all the time. My aunt was devastated. Her husband left her, and soon she is going to be a single mom. So instead of wallowing in pain, she packed up his stuff and went to the mistress' house. She left those bags and had a long list. The list contained the number of medication he needs, what he needs to eat, his schedules, where he shops, what he likes to eat, etc. It's basically a manual of how to keep her deadbeat husband functioning. The way my aunt described the mistress's expression is priceless. It is like as if there it was an explosion in front of her. A few days after she left, she would get constant calls from the mistress about her husband. She would complain that he doesn't like the food she makes because it's not like hers. Even her ex husband had the audacity to call her when his girlfriend wasn't home so that she can come and cook. She would always hang up. They both called multiple times. My aunt turned them away each time. She got backlash for not caring, but she was stubborn in her decisions. Over time, her and the kids also stopped visiting. I'm sorry, over the time, her kids also stopped visiting their dad because their dad knows nothing about the kids. It's been 10 years. She is divorced. She works as a teacher in a school. Her kids are all established and takes care of their mother. They barely talk to their dad. Aunt never got married. I think she doesn't want to either. On the other hand, Dick and his mistress are miserable. The last time I saw them, Dick looked fat, like really fat. He had a heart attack last year. The mistress looks like she's aged 20 years. She looks miserable. And whenever she looked at Dick, it seems like she just wanted to take him out. I guess my aunt was the only one keeping him alive, but I'll give him credit for making it past 55. The thing is, these people are able to cheat because they have a woman at home doing the foundational work, the cooking, the cleaning, the caring for the children. They have energy to cheat because they're not participating in the home life. And that is one of the reasons why when people get divorced, the dad is usually socially isolated from the children because he hasn't made an effort to get to know the children. And the thing is, when there is a mistress. The mistress is winning because the wife is doing the dirty work. Once the man moves in and the mistress has to take over the role as the wife, she's the one that gets drained. She's the one whose life force this parasite is now sucking the time, energy, and resources from. So that's the thing. This is one of the reasons why I say you got to make them hold their own nuts. If they can't survive without you doing these things, then they maybe that parasite needs to shrivel up and perish because that's just another host that they will be draining. But this mistress took this person on her own. She is culpable in her own reality. She just didn't really know and understand the wife's job and duties that she was taking on. Now, once the wife came over and brought that list, she should have left that man where he stood. But she chose to take on that project, and this is what she's left with. All right, some of the comments. He wanted Aunt to come over to Mistress' house to cook for him. The gall. I hope she laughed in his face. And then the OP says, she said nothing and hung up the phone. Kangaroo Pack says, your aunt ended up living her best is the best revenge ever. As for your uncle, well, guess karma comes in the form of bad health. I bet your uncle now wobbles like a penguin with all the extra kilos he has packed on. Chris Riley says she should have told him her catering rates, something like €500 an hour, plus the cost of food. Add on an adultery tax, and you're golden. Cash in advance. This person says, sounds like she didn't have a husband and 2 kids. She had 3 kids as a single mom. When she dropped that one deadbeat kid off the list, her life got phenomenally better. Yes, I love this. I really love these find out stories. And like Key says, the audacity stories. I love it when, they get what they need in real time, when their behaviors and consequences smacks them in the face. Jump in the comments. I know that you guys love these stories like I do. Tell me what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. So this question was asked to women in the 2X chromosome subreddit. She says, women, what do you feel is the hardest part about growing up as a girl? She said, I saw this question at the Ask Men subreddit for the boys. I'm wondering what y'all's answer would be. She says, thank you all for sharing. It's very tough growing up in a world intoxicated with patriarchy ways and horrible men. But the day will come when women and girls will be respected. It may not be this generation or the next, but it will be one day. Slowly but surely, we'll get to the finish line. She says, P.S. Y'all are so strong. I've seen more women in my life stronger than most men I've met. So don't ever let anybody tell you you're not. Love y'all. And I definitely want to know your answer. What is the hardest part about growing up as a girl? For me, it was the different ways that the girl cousins were treated than the boy cousins. We had a lot of cousins. My grandmother, on my mother's side, had 8 children, and all of those children had kids. And so we all grew up together. So we definitely saw the differences in what the boys were able to do and what the girls were able to do. And that's pretty much it. The girls, we were pushed to get educated. We were definitely given structure and things to do. It's definitely interesting knowing how many of us girls have gotten up and moved away and done things. When you think about the structure that we were given and the structure that the boys were not given, it played a part in that. Now let's get to some of the commentary. Body issues. I learned to hate my body at a very young age. In my mid 30s, and I'm still struggling to learn to love myself the way I am. This person says, "Ugh, this one for me. Body dysmorphic disorder is real. It's always in the back of my mind. The only time I was okay with weight gain was when I was pregnant. Plus, I had to have a hysterectomy at 26, and that also made me gain weight. For 7 years, I dealt with being the highest weight I've been. Then I got massively sick and dropped 20 pounds within a few months. Considering I'm short and petite, 20 pounds is quite noticeable. Alice in Wonderland syndrome is also an interesting add on. I do not know what Alice in Wonderland syndrome is. If you do, please chime in. This person says, same. I used to get body shamed by my family members, so I got an eating disorder. This person says, me too. This person says, if you don't like duck. I've always hated having my picture taken, or so I thought. I found a photo album with all these pictures of me at age 3 to 4, absolutely hamming it up for the camera, dramatic poses and all. It felt so surreal, like that little girl in the photo was a complete stranger to me. I don't even remember not feeling insecure, but especially the moment a camera comes out. But apparently, there was a time when I loved having my picture taken. There was a time when I was just a silly, vivacious, carefree child. What happened to her? How do I recapture that spark that got snuffed out? Diane says, learning how to deflect unwanted sexual advances from men and relatives from the time you hit puberty. That's so sad. Tricky says, or in some cases, way before puberty. A noisy crow says, at age 10 on. Sadie says, age 9 for me. I'm raising my 11-year-old son to be better, respectful, and cognizant of consent and boundaries. Spicy Celis says, age 7 for me. I'm conventionally attractive, blonde hair, blue eyes, and people would always touch me and my hair since it's always been long. I had to accept it because it was family or they're just being nice. I don't accept it anymore. This person says, good for you. I never got that talk or teaching from anyone that and I had to learn it myself. I'm glad I was able to learn all of that stuff before it was too late. Yes, people should not be just touching you, and you should not make your kids accept that someone is just being nice or you have to give them a hug because that's your family. A new kitten appears, says, I've never met a woman who wasn't sexually harassed before age 12, and those who made it to 12 were the lucky few. Most women I've met first experience sexual harassment, assault, misconduct by ages 7 to 8. This person says, for me, it was mostly seeing how there were different rules for me than for my brothers, especially in terms of freedom. Edit to say, I'm kind of baffled with all these replies and grateful to say that my wonderful parents raised me as a tomboy that I was with almost no complaints. My comment was addressed at things like going out alone or being out after dark. Left-eyed crow says, same for me. I was continuously baffled by being told you can't play with that truck, you can't watch that program, you can't hunt or fish or go camping, you can't stay out past 10, you can't be an Eagle Scout or an architect or speak to men in that tone of voice. You must be prepared to cook and clean and housekeep for a man because you can't get a credit card or a mortgage or a good education or a high paying job because female. I rebelled against all of it and had a rough time. 50 years later, I'm glad things are a bit easier for my younger sisters, but we still have a long way to go. Gaelic Toe says, it's because of women like you rebelling that we have it easier than those that came before us. And we'll keep it going so the ones coming after us have it better than we did. Yes, we just have to keep pushing back against these narratives and boxes. That's the only way to make it easier for our daughters, our little sisters, our cousins, and any other women that are coming behind us. Madam Kitsune says, me playing on a climbing frame. My grandma, get down off of there. What if your dress flies up? Everyone will see your underwear and think you're a dirty girl. My cousin runs past, stark bullock naked. My grandmother, silence. Yes. Left Eye Crow says, yep, also shaking my damn head. Edit to add, there's something she wasn't telling you. They were afraid that sports would tear your hymen and you'd be ruined for your wedding night, regardless of your actual V card. That was a real thing in the olden days. I don't know if you've looked into old science, but they actually did think that weightlifting would make your uterus fall out. You should definitely look into that. All right, jump into the comments. You chime in and let me know, what do you feel the hardest part of growing up as a girl in the patriarchy was or is for you specifically? Don't forget to like, comment, and share. So this was a post in the Defeat Project 2025 subreddit. This person says, the conservative reaction to Project 2025 honestly blows my mind. He or she says, I went on the conservative subreddit to see if anyone on there is worried about Project 2025 and what they are proposing. A surprisingly good amount of them were worried on one post. But oh my God, the amount of, I haven't read it, but it's liberals freaking out about it. So you do not read or research anything from the party you vote for except the propaganda inside. That's actually concerning. That's embarrassing. That is blind loyalty and not actually understanding politics. Also saying the left is the only one freaking out about it, once again, because most of them don't read it or do much actual reading on it. Also, the amount I've heard saying it's propaganda, it's on their own website. And why would you think it's propaganda when it makes themselves look bad? I'm truly baffled. The very interesting thing is, I have had people that come to my page when I'm talking about it to say it is just like liberals, just like, their hair is on fire or anything. And I'm like, it's right here. There is a whole document, there is a website. This is put out by the Heritage Foundation, a very well known conservative think tank. And people simply do not know and understand how this will impact them. So I really would like to know if the women who have voted for this are perfectly happy with the fact that these people are literally coming for birth control. They really don't want women to have options. And I know that there are women who lean on pro-life and whatever, but they're simply trying to take away choices as well. They're also trying to ban IVF. They have said these things. Some people have actually used IVF. They don't know how it is demonized within conservative circles. It's so weird. And I'm really wondering how the women who did vote for Trump initially would really think and feel about this Project 2025 if they know all the things that they are coming for. If you have seen conservatives in your circle, see if they are talking about Project 2025, if they are educated and actually read up on any of it. Ask these questions because I really need to know. All right, some of the comments. Not from Kelly says they love it, at least until they find out their corn has been taken away from them. They will wonder why their landscapers and farm hands don't show up, or wait, maybe about those black jobs they are talking about. Carnotaurus says, for real, then they'd actually have to pay standard wages. They'll complain about that too, and then on to it's unaliving the unions. Overkill says, don't worry, slave labor will solve the workforce problem, especially since they have made homelessness a crime that is punishable by a fine or jail time. Carnator says, if their goal is to repeal the 20th century, the whole 20th century, then yes, that's exactly where we're headed. Love and Light says, yeah, the black job comment definitely solidified the fact that they are not trying to hide the racism whatsoever because black jobs are minimum wage jobs, right? They want to pin minorities against each other, but we aren't buying into that. Edit. As a woman and minority from California, I've never had the opportunity or experience taken away from me due to immigrants invading the border. This is a fact. Shag 1166 says, and there are some of my black folks who drink the Kool-Aid at their own peril. Love and Light says, I have relatives who do. It's mind boggling as these are educated middle class people. They have decent lives with modern luxuries. I wish they didn't sip the Kool-Aid. Yeah, I have definitely seen some colored folks sip the conservative Kool-Aid. Not in my family, though. I don't have anyone that I think would vote for Trump in my family that I can think of. Welcoming Cavalier says, my cousin's husband has said he thinks Project 2025 will save America. For years, he's also said he wanted a theocracy. Boo. He also let it slip once. He knows how bad Trump is, but wants all that info hidden to protect his image. Most of my family are MAGA, but he's the most extreme by a large margin. Easy Concentrate says, in all honesty, I feel like I'm getting a front row seat to how fascism takes over a country. I know someone who is an independent and originally was very anti-Trump, but is now siding increasingly right the longer he imbibes the right-wing propaganda. It's wild. It definitely is wild to go from being an independent to being right-wing. Afraid Smell says they are going to love it until they realize that authoritarian style governments do not like their citizens armed. Earthman says, sorry to repeal the Second Amendment, citizen, but libs are now buying firearms in a craven attempt to overthrow the great one. For all of our protection, we must refuse pew pew and ammo sales until the lib threat is eliminated. Yeah. Also, bring us all your wives and daughters now, or it's 9 months in the ISO cubes. All right. So, yeah, I don't really think that most people know what's coming. And it's not us freaking out. This is what they have typed out that they want. They literally want us living in a theocracy and going towards the Handmaid's Tale. All right, jump into the comments. Let me know what you have seen. Have you seen people that are conservative? Do they seem educated on what's going on? Like, comment, share. This graph from the Twitter was cross-posted on the BurbNBougie subreddit. And when Creepy Night posted it, she says, what do you think it is, ladies? Wrong answers only. And what do you think it is as far as 1/3 of women under 44 have no children? What is this? What's causing it? Egoism, cost of living, or something else? That's what they put on Twitter. I would like to know your answer, but make sure it's the wrong answer. So here's the chart. So you see this orange chart at the top where it's 0 children. But if you follow it back down, in 1975, only 20% of the age 25 to 44 had zero children. So you see how that number has changed over time to where more and more women are not having kids. And I don't think that people are really listening to women when they are telling people why they are opting out of having children, but that number has skyrocketed over the past few years. And the crazy thing is, we still have people talking about single motherhood and blah, 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 when actually women are more and more so opting out of having kids or being one and done. Being one and done. If you look, the number of people having 3, 4, and 5 children is way low. Is way low. Anyways, go ahead, drop the answer. Why are women having less children? Wrong answers only. Some of the answers on the BurbNBougie subreddit. So, No Juggernaut says some of them are adopting adult men. They call it marriage. Timely Criticism says this: unfortunately, my mother's oldest child is her husband, who is 8 years older than her. The audacity of egoism, the gays, obviously. Creepy Night says, and the drag queens and those queers. They're spreading their gayness, disease, and now women's uteruses are dissolving, just shriveling up. Santy Black says, common sense. Blue Fleetwood says this all day long: 4B and Team Bear forever. Quirch says, easy. We're all chasing the top 20% of men and crying alone at home while abusing our cats when we can't get them to impregnate us. Creepy Night says, yes, we only want 666. Lucifer, where art thou? And this person says, that cheeky devil. Grumpy on Main says, too busy dyeing my hair pink because men find it attractive. Too busy catfishing men online for compliments because it's just such a rush to get attention from people who would F a McChicken sandwich and are already in my inbox saying, what are you doing? What are you doing, beautiful? I think the easy answer is feminism. Feminism has destroyed everything and made women. There are feminist gangs going around saying, do not have kids. I'm pretty sure that that's the answer. Some of the answers on my YouTube page: I don't want to die or worse, be forced to carry a. Okay, so she put in a real answer. Or forced to carry a not alive fetus and be rejected for medical treatment. I don't want to go through that emotional abuse that comes with that and the life altering trauma that comes with it. I also don't want teenagers. This person says, infant crying will disturb my cats. I can't have that. And the person at the bottom says, yes, meow. My cats need peace and quiet. Nocturnal Miss So says, absolutely, sir. It's our giant, massive egos. Area Gloria says, I'm actually an alien who is incapable of reproducing with humans. Jane says, I can have a nap after work or I can have a baby, but I can't have both. I choose sleep. Jeannie B says, too many women get used to finding their things in the same place where they left them. Yeah, that's probably it. All right, I want to know your fake answers, your wrong answers, but you can also chime in with real answers if you want. Why are women choosing to go child free? Why are some women choosing to do one and done? Chime in, let us know.